What's up, guys? I'm Duck Deep, and it's time to turn Wi-Fi battles up to 11 with 1080p 60 frames per second beauty in Pokemon Sun and Moon. This should not be possible, but it is. Thank you so much to Shofu and Sork for sorting this out. Today's battle is against the one and only MrAvematic. You can check him out in the description down below. He is uploading his perspective of this battle, and he has an amazingly scary team. I am terrified of Nihilego. That thing is a monster. It can kill a lot of things, and it can also set up rocks and stuff. It's just really bulky, difficult to kill, and it can kill a lot of stuff with its sludge bombs. It kills Tapus and things like that. Always a threat to be reckoned with. My team, of course, does have answers to it, and I'm going to be using my answer Weavile as my lead in this battle. And also, he's got that Buzzwole, and Buzzwole is almost always Scarfed. Luckily for me, Scarf circuitry is faster than Buzzwole, so we can sort that out. Let's jump into the battle and see what goes on. As I said, I'm going to be leading off with the mighty Weavile, and my opponent, Inducement, does decide to lead with his Nihilego. That is a problem, of course, but I am going to go straight for the Icicle Crash. It's a very, very strong attack on this Nihilego, and I'm going to do a big chunk of damage. Watch those ice landing on the Nihilego, and look at how much damage I did. He's going to go ahead and throw up his Stealth Rocks. They're going to ping into battle, and I have to worry about those now because I've got Sashmons, and Weavile doesn't like taking 25% on switching, even though it is Darkinium Z Weavile. This is probably the last time I'm going to be using this team in a battle, by the way, guys, for you. Ave decided to switch out his Nihilego because he doesn't want to die. He brings in Gyarados. Obviously, Gyarados is going to eat up any attack from Weavile. I actually went for the Throat Chop. I was predicting the switch, but not into this, and I wanted to get a Throat Chop off to do some real damage. I decided to switch out my Weavile here because obviously it does nothing to Gyarados, and it's a good opportunity to bring in Beat Down the Tapu Fini. Now, Tapu Fini is a really good choice for Gyarados because it resists Crunch from Mega Gyarados. It resists those water attacks. It's very, very bulky. This is a bold Tapu Fini, and it can Moonblast for super effective damage, and it can Defog. This was a really, really good switch for me. It was really solid. It was a very, very safe play to make. If Ave had predicted it and doubled out, it could have been a problem, but I do have switch-ins for a lot of his team at this point in the battle, especially when I still have all of my roster intact. He's going to hit me with a Waterfall. It's going to do a good amount of damage, but luckily for me, I do have Leftovers and Protect on this Tapu Fini. So again, this Gyarados really can't do anything to Tapu Fini. It's going to force Ave to switch out, and it's going to give me a free opportunity to do whatever I want. I could set up a Defog here, or I could Scald an incoming Mon, or I could Moonblast. And I actually decided to Moonblast. I wanted damage, and I didn't think Defog was my best play, because obviously if he brings in Nihilego on a Defog, he can just set his rocks straight back up. I can do a lot of damage to Nihilego with Scald, but he will do a huge amount of damage to me back with Sludge Bomb, so it's a real consideration of what to do in this situation. And by not defogging, I could have even protected here and got a little bit of extra healing. I decided to take the Sludge Bomb damage in order to Scald him and kill his Nihilego. It was a mistake, I think, to not defog on him switching Gyarados out. The switch, in hindsight, was very, very obvious, and defog was the better play, because it would have forced him to put his rocks back up, allowing me to Scald him and kill his Nihilego without taking any damage, or it would have forced him to die after Sludge Bombing me and not get his rocks back up at all. He's going to go into Tapu Lele here, the pod. Tapu Lele is a hugely offensive Pokemon. Very, very scary mon. We don't fuck with Tapu Lele, okay? That thing, it's got its handcuffed hands together. It's ready to go. It's riding around in its Bowser car, and it's going to Moonblast the crap out of my Tapu Fini if it can. I'm going to Protect to get some Leftovers healing. Obviously, I want to get as much health back as possible on Beatdown. Leftovers healing as well, the 2 Leftovers I just got, is enough that I can bring it in on Stealth Rocks and not take any extra damage. It's beautiful. So I'm going to go out into my Give It To You, my Mega Metagross. Mega Metagross can eat a Psychic from Tapu Lele, and it can eat a Moonblast from Tapu Lele. It's a really good switch in. It's going to take a chunk from this Moonblast, and it would have taken even more from a Psychic, but because of the new Mega mechanics where I get my speed immediately, I can Mega Evolve here, get my speed, and actually hit him with a Pursuit, predicting his switch out. Obviously, Meteor Mash would kill, and you get your speed immediately, and it's a very, very safe play to Meteor Mash him, but I predicted the switch, and I did go for Pursuit. I really want to get a chunk of damage off on this Tapu Lele, put it in range of a nice Weavile Ice Punch or Icicle Crash in the case of my Weavile. Very, very easy to deal with then. And the Mandibuzz switch in obviously would have taken nothing from Meteor Mash, so it was a really, really good play on my part. I'm quite proud of that play, and it actually had a huge effect on this battle. I'm going to go back into Beatdown. Shofu the Beatdown is a great mon, again, for Mandibuzz. It walls it. Foul Play does nothing because we have no attack, and we've got huge defenses. It can't really do anything other than U-turn out. And Ave made a really safe play there by U-turning. It was a very, very safe U-turn. Really, really nice play. Got a lot of respect for that play. Obviously, it worked for him, and it got him to bring in Tapu Lele again on show for the beatdown so he can get an easy kill on beatdown here if he wants it or if I allow it to happen. I am going to get leftovers healing, and protect is obviously still an option. I can protect against the Tapu Lele, scout the move, and also get more leftovers healing and bring me back up to the health I was actually at when I switched out my beatdown last time. Obviously now Metagross is a much more dangerous switch-in. If he goes for the Shadow Ball like he just did, or if he goes for Psychic, he can knock out my Mega Metagross now, which is crazy how strong Tapu Lele is. 130 base special attack, absolute monster. When I saw the Shadow Ball, I was like, okay, I cannot bring Metagross in. I'm going to let Beatdown die here, or let Beatdown get knocked out. Beatdown took the hit like a champion, my boy Beatdown, so that I could go into Mega Skarmory. Why Mega Skarmory? Because I want to be able to Toxic whatever he brings in. He's going to be fearing the Heavy Slam, obviously, and he's going to switch out. He brought in Hot Boner, his Marowak. Why do I want to kill Marowak? Marowak is the only thing stopping me from winning with Xurkitree. Marowak was the obvious switch in for my Celesteela. Toxic was my really, really good play here. So baiting in the Marowak, Toxicing it, and then I can start stalling it out. If I can get rid of this Marowak, Scarf, Xurkitree pretty much sweeps Ave's team at this point. Now that Tapu Lele is weakened, can't take that special hit anymore, and I've weakened a lot of his Mons. Mandibuzz, it's super effective on. Gyarados, it's super effective on. Buzzwole is the only thing that can really take a hit, and even then it doesn't take it very well. It's a really, really good turn for me to get that Toxic off. I'm going to protect against the Flare Blitz to get even more Toxic damage off on Ave. And this battle is, at the moment, going really, really well for me. He can start to knock out a lot of my Pokemon with this ferociously powerful Scald monster that is Marowak. I love Marowak. Marowak's a great Pokemon. So I'm going to switch out Mega Skarm. I don't want to lose it just yet. It is my only Protect Mon left, and I do need Protect to be able to stall out his Marowak. Switching in Hunter is a very safe play. He's got to go for the Flare Blitz. It's not going to do too much damage to me. I can hit him back with the Boomerang if I manage to outspeed, or I think I'm Earthquake on this set. I can hit him back with the Earthquake if I manage to outspeed. If I don't, he's going to kill me, but he's still going to take an extra 2 turns of Toxic damage. I can then go back into my Mega Skarm and Protect in that situation, and he will get knocked out. Ave, knowing this to be the situation, switches into Buzz in Demand. Really, really nice. I think I actually went for the Shadow Bone here, predicting a switch, and plus Shadow Bone would have knocked out his Marowak at that range. I think it knocks it out at any range. So it was a very, very safe play to go for the Shadow Bone and hit whatever he brought in. Mandibuzz takes 0. This Mandibuzz is a problem, and it's a problem I'm not well equipped to deal with. So I am going to switch out into Mega Skarm again. My big, bulky Celesteela, Toxicking everything and dealing with it that way. I really like Celesteela for that. Obviously, it does slow down games, and it's not the most offensive or exciting Mon, but Celesteela is a very, very, very good Pokemon. If you're trying to get into OU, Celesteela is a good Mon to choose. He does U-turn out into his Hot Boner again, but Toxic is still there. So this time, I don't even need to predict a switch or anything and Toxic him on the way in. I can just sit here, and every time he brings in the Marowak, sit there and click Protect, and get some more Toxic damage off, more Toxic damage off, more Toxic damage off. Because he switched, obviously he has taken the Toxic damage this turn. I get a Protect, that's a second turn of Toxic damage, puts him in range of the third turn, plus the Flare Blitz. At this point, I can allow Celesteela to die to the Flare Blitz, because he will take so much recoil damage that his Marowak will then die to Toxic, at the very least, if he doesn't just die to recoil. So really, really good turn for me if he goes for Flare Blitz now, and Ave misplays in this situation. I do decide to switch out my Mega Skarm and go into Hunter, because I can take a Flare Blitz on my Hunter and then he'll die to Toxic, and I decided that was the better thing to sack. But he's going to Flare Blitz here, and that was the mistake that Ave made. Sorry, just knocked my mic there. Sorry for the mic sounds. That was the mistake that Ave made, was not switching out there, sorry, and going for the Flare Blitz on my switching. He is going to die to Toxic either this turn or next turn. I believe he doesn't actually die this turn. Yeah, he survives this turn, and then I go into Celesteela, which is why I should have just sacked Celesteela off. I forgot about the Stealth Rocks, and I forgot that that would reduce his recoil damage. So I should have just sacked Celesteela off previously and allowed him to die to Toxic. I went for Giga Drain here, which was an absolutely awful play, predicting him to switch into Gyarados. I predicted him to switch into Gyarados on the Protect. He went straight for the Flare Blitz, and he decided to pick up one more kill with Marowak. Even though that was a good prediction by him, it actually... he suffered for it. He suffered for it because he now has no switch in for Xurkitree. A switch to Gyarados, even though I predicted it, would have been his better play because it would have kept his Hot Boner alive. Marowak needed to be alive for him to have a chance in this battle. And unfortunately, by allowing it to die there and by, just sacking it off, he goes into Buzz the Kill here. We're both Choice Scarf, almost certainly. I am going to Volt Switch here to get rid of some of this thing's health, because I know I can 2-hit KO it with Xurkitree, and Xurkitree then proceeds to sweep his team. I do Volt Switch. I'm going to go into my Metagross and sack it off. Ave actually went for a really good play here. He went for Leech Life, which allows his Buzzwole to live a little longer. If he managed to start getting boosts off with Leech Life, if he managed to kill my Xurkitree, he might have had a chance. Unfortunately for him, that one play with Marowak really left him nothing for Xurkitree. It allowed me to Volt Switch on Buzzwole, get it down low, so that now it's in range of a Thunderbolt. Easily in range of a Thunderbolt. And that is going to be game as far as I'm concerned. At this point, Ave had absolutely no chance. Xurkitree was going to absolutely body his team, and there was nothing he could do about it. So he goes into... I go into Xurkitree here, sorry, and he has no choice but to allow his Buzzwole to die. He can't switch anything into the Xurkitree. The Xurkitree is going to get a special attack boost every time it knocks out a Mon. This is why Choice Scarf Xurkitree is such a threat. Once it snowballs, it cannot be stopped. Once you have removed the threat to Xurkitree sweep, it cannot be swapped. It cannot be swapped either. You don't want to swap it out. If you swap it out, you could lose your sweep. But you've got to remove the threats. And the threats to that, at the moment, the most common one is not Mega Marowak, Alolan Marowak. Sorry, I'm looking at a Mega Gyarados that's just getting blown away by the Thunderbolt right now. And I'm getting another boost. I'm now at +2 special attack. And because his Tapu Lele was whittled, he couldn't bring it in after I got my +1 and stop the sweep. So now he goes into Depod. He is going to lose Depod. And that will be game after he loses this and his Mandibuzz. But as I was saying, Xurkitree, Scarf Xurkitree, huge threat. Very difficult to stop if you don't have a Volt Absorb or a Lightning Rod Mon. I've been running Jolteon on a fun team for a little bit. I designed that team for stripping, but then I decided it was actually a really fun team to use, and I've been using Jolteon. It's a really fun Mon that does stop Xurkitree in its tracks, and also, if they switch Marowak in and Jolteon, you've got the Shadow Ball to deal with Marowak, so it can even pair with Xurkitree if you want it to. It can be an anti-Xurkitree and a Xurkitree partner at the same time, although 2 electric types might be a mistake. Something to consider, guys. So I take out the Mandibuzz here. That is the end of the game. This game was very close. I only had 2 Mons left. I only had my Xurkitree and my Weavile left. Weavile did virtually nothing this game, which was really interesting. He does run Darkinium Z and that Black Hole, which could have come in really handy against Dave's team, but it wasn't required, and that was game. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the 1080p. Please comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you guys next time. Alright then, guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you can click up here to see more videos of this type on my channel. If you want to check out something else a little bit different, then you can click down here. And if you want to see everything that I upload, you can click the subscribe button right here.